Hey everyone, welcome back to Astrology Unplugged, where we talk about everything astrological, spiritual. Tonight, we're talking eclipse. We last time we met, we discussed, we thought we would do it in one episode, but it turned out we went on and we let it be. So we left the solar eclipse, which is happening this weekend, for tonight.
Now, in saying that, we didn't just prattle. We really covered the
We did.
lunar eclipse fully and completely. And since it's only been 2 weeks, I'm just curious, did anybody happen to notice anything with the eclipse experience? Anybody do any special work with it? Yeah.
I got up in Australia at around 3 a.m. and went out to my backyard, and I could look west
Mhm.
and took really bad vision of it with my iPhone, but it was
Uh-huh.
it was just so.
Oh, nice.
And it hadn't quite, like, it was probably halfway through, maybe three-quarters of the way through, but it was getting to be that beautiful orange reddy color.
Hmm.
And it just, I don't know, I was just pleased to have actually gone, right, I really want to see this, even if it's momentarily, because it was cold
Yeah.
outside. But
Yeah.
Sure.
it was lovely. It really was. There's something special, isn't there, about connecting into the sky, especially at night. But
Very.
what was it, day or night for you guys? Must have been
Well, if
day.
it was
It
your
was
day at
night.
nighttime, it was our
Yeah.
It was
daytime.
daytime.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Sorry, of course it would.
the full moon, wasn't it? It was a full moon lunar
Yeah.
eclipse.
Hmm.
In
Well, but
Virgo,
it
wasn't
would
it?
we would well, Jane's on a different.
Part of the
Yeah.
Yeah,
hemisphere.
exactly.
In fact,
Um,
eastern hemisphere as well as southern hemisphere.
exactly.
Yes.
So it's good that you got to you kind of felt the fullness of it, or you felt the experience of it. I felt it
Well,
Yeah,
and
it
the
when
was
part
really.
of it that is a blood moon.
yeah.
Yes, yeah. And just to be able to actually go out into my backyard and do it too. Like,
Hmm.
I was thinking maybe I'd jump in the car and go look, but then I thought, I'll just see if I can see it from my backyard. It was just beautiful.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It
It
was a
was
beautiful.
actually midnight here, but we couldn't see it here. It
Right,
was night,
Oh,
but we
yep,
couldn't see the eclipse here.
right.
right.
The actual eclipse.
I mean, I think what the best view of this one coming up that we're talking about is what going to be from Antarctica.
Yep, in the
Think
southern
so.
hemisphere,
Yeah.
New Zealand,
Yeah.
Antarctica. I have a slide on it, and I don't think yeah, it's not going to be anywhere near us, but
Go
Yeah, I don't think
Penguins!
we will. Yeah, go to the
yeah,
go to the penguins. Yeah.
I know.
And the whales.
I felt a lot of it in my life personally.
That's where I went with it.
Yeah, I felt it big time. I feel like this solar one is also going to be felt by me. Like I
Hmm.
feel it in personally, and the last one was more a lot of surrender, surrender, surrender. I have to say it wasn't exactly, it
Peaches, roses, and unicorns.
no. But it was very good. And in fact, what I realized looking back is it's actually opening something up for me, probably for this solar, which I don't know how it'll feel yet,
Mhm.
probably for the solar eclipse coming up this weekend. And I have personal planets that are going to be, you know, involved.
I
Me
did see,
too.
I did see where they said something about looking 18 years ago to see some of the things that were
Yes.
going on in order to have a better understanding of how it will affect you in your life,
Yeah.
because what affected you in your life was accustomed to your particular chart. That's why you want to look at your own life in that. I had like 48 hours of incredible shamanic experiences with that
Mm.
last eclipse.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
It had a lot of sleeping, but not because I was tired. It was
Uh-huh.
because I was dream walking.
You're the
I
best.
I had more vivid qualities to the dreams, more retention, and so much significance. It was just astounding. And the long and short of it was there were certain um, ties that I had to break,
Uh-huh.
different
Yep.
boundaries I needed to go ahead and see, oh, this is getting pushed and I didn't see it,
Uh-huh.
you know? So, yeah, just because they're good at hiding it doesn't mean I didn't always see it, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. I can relate to that. I really can. I had something happen here that I found really difficult. I was dealing with a neighbour that doesn't always live here, lives in Melbourne, in the big
Mm,
city. And I'm just bringing that up because I feel sort of similar in the sense of I went into an old pattern of deal
Ah.
of finding the whole dealing with this guy difficult, and he was a little bit, he's just not necessarily easy to deal with. Not
Uh-huh.
awful, but just not easy. And I was, because it was something to do with a joint thing on our properties. And I just probably went into little girl Jane, and and I could feel the tension, and I know this was all around that period. It was two weeks ago,
mm-hmm,
and I'm just bringing it up because I could, it basically straight away after it was sort of settled, I came back into my body basically, and
Yeah.
went,
sure,
okay, okay.
right.
Be kind, Jane, but to yourself, but also get something from this, and know to be more aware of what I need to do in those situations. Because, yeah, so yeah, I just think that was probably part of it for me. So thank you, Rick.
Absolutely. I think it's important that we share those things. And um, to be even clearer, um, when you get your boundaries in place and you have a strong sense of them, and other people are like, yeah, don't mess with that. You don't know him. It's not going to go well for you. There's still the opportunity for somebody who is a little bit more covert to
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and do some things that you're not aware of behind the
Yes.
scenes. That's where I was thinking I'm pulling my energy back a little bit sooner with some of those um, backdoor kind of people
Mm-hmm.
that don't always
Mm-hmm.
do things on
Yeah,
open channels. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I'm a very gentle and kind person, and sometimes it's too easy to be friendly because I am and not share my extra kindness with people who are not nice, who might take it
Oh,
as an opportunity to take one, somehow get something over on me.
You're right.
oh, Rick, that really resonates with me too. That's just,
Me
yeah,
too.
yeah,
And
yeah,
because we're being friendly in the moment,
Yeah.
it can
yes,
trick our mind to thinking that we were just talking to a friend. No, no, no.
yes.
You were just
Mm-hmm.
being friendly. That doesn't make that person your friend.
Yes. Right.
So good.
We have to
It's
learn
so good.
what is worthy of being trustworthy in order
Yes.
or in order to hold those boundaries so well. So I don't need to blather on. I just wanted to throw that out there. I think it's helpful
It's
because
very helpful
we did
because we
a
don't do
lot
that
of
enough. We
curiosity.
talk about what's coming up, and then we don't, we need to do more check-ins. We need
Right.
to do, hey, what did you feel? What did you experience?
Mm-hmm.
How did it go? It could be on a mundane level, it could be really internalized, whatever it may be. Usually we feel something to some degree. Some of
Right.
us more than others, depending on how, it is in our charts or how sensitive we might be, but it is, and this one, I think, uh, if you look at the screen right now, actually, before I go on, I do want to ask Linda, do you want to share anything about how you felt the lunar eclipse, if you had any?
Actually, I was at a meditation. We have
Wow.
meditation every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Uh-huh.
at my Unitarian church. It's a small group.
Yeah,
And there was a lot of contentious energy. It
really.
was very
Wow.
strange. And it was like, it kind of got resolved somewhat
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that those of us who were there, I think, are trying to be there all the time. We sort of recommitted to like the structure and how we wanted to do it because we've been starting like this with kind of a check-in,
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
like did anything happen this week that made you really happy or something, and we
Right.
talk about our lives a little bit before we go into our room and do our stuff. And the
Yeah.
woman who had originally started it and is kind of a teacher type professor,
Mm-hmm.
she was having none of that, and she's not there all the time anymore. So there was a lot of tension, but
Oh,
it got resolved. But I
yeah.
know I noted right away, my gosh, there's an eclipse going on like
Yeah.
today, and
And
here
you
we
say
are.
it was a Saturday.
It was
So
Saturday.
the day before or 6 days after?
No, it was on the 7th. Wasn't that a Saturday?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I think it was.
It was Sunday. So it was Saturday and the eclipse was Sunday. So it was the day before. Yeah.
Going into it.
Right. Going into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, meditators are more generally aware.
Mm-hmm.
They have a broader sense of awareness. They recognize more. So that's totally reasonable to suspect that they could have easily found themselves extra tense.
Yeah.
It was really interesting
Mm-hmm.
that there wasn't any big outburst, but I could tell on my one friend, just her face, I could tell like she was just like
Mm-hmm.
really, really, really unhappy.
Yeah.
But we all made it through, and then we sort of recommitted in a way. We agreed that this is what we wanted to do, and if you didn't like it, you were outnumbered. Period. So it's okay. But I
Wow.
thought it was interesting. It was happening during an eclipse in
Yeah.
Libra.
Sure.
Because we
Of
think
all
of
things,
Libra as like harmony, but to get to the harmony, you have to have
the personal
sometimes,
work.
yeah, and you have to, sometimes Libra is not nice.
Well, the opposite side is
Is
definitely
Aries.
Aries.
Aries, exactly, exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. So we had a lot of like ego headbutting,
Yeah.
trying to come to some nice group serenity. So
Well,
thank you
that's
for
Good.
beautiful.
asking.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what? You actually brought up a piece of what I was going to share later, so I'm going to just share it now regarding the eclipses
Uh-huh.
and how we will take any event that we're going to analyze and we look at what's going on when it happens, but remembering that we look at the pieces to understand how is this effect? What are we like? The main thing is we're going to filter it through the lens of the eclipse, but there are many other small pieces. So if you start looking at the small pieces that are around it, so like what is it going to tell us when we look at, oh, at the same time this is happening, Mars is going to be opposite Chiron.
Mm-hmm.
How is that just doing something?
Yeah.
And whatever the piece is, we've been looking at Pluto in Aquarius, Saturn and Neptune in Aries, that is going to be talked about as that Saturn has, slipped back a bit. And then Uranus in Gemini,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm going to remind everybody that Sedna is there, even if you don't see it in the chart.
Mm.
Yeah.
And Sedna is hugely responsible for bringing forward unheard voices.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
yeah. Because the myth of Sedna was about a young woman who capitulated and submitted to going with the flow, even though she did not wish to get married.
Right.
It was not her interest, and it ended. So to please her father, she chose to get married, and it was a terrible match, no matter what myth you look at.
Right.
And because there are several, and it ends up going south,
Mm.
you know, and it's not good to lose your voice. We don't want to go ahead and forget the simplicity of do not make yourself small to accommodate someone else.
Excellent. I love that. That's
I
right.
love that.
I think that's big right now.
Yes, I
Mhm.
Me
agree.
too. I know it is. I know it is. I have to say one more thing because it really is. This whole eclipse thing is so personal for me. The dates are just give you goosebumps.
Really.
The eclipse coming up this weekend at 29 degrees of Virgo. 1968. My father died in December of 1968.
Mm.
1987. I have to look up. It was either when I taught my first class on the goddess or when I got certified in trauma work. I'm not sure. I have to look it up. 2006, December, my mother died. And during this eclipse period that's been going on for a few months, moving into now, my sister, who's 10 years older than I am, her daughters have been trying to move her towards assisted living. And it finally happened this week. It happened Monday, I guess. So she is a Pisces and she's in this eclipse
Yeah.
time of like a huge life change for
Yes.
her, a huge life change for me. It's been extremely
Wow.
emotional and sad. And I didn't realize until I saw these dates, I
Right.
guess, a couple of days ago or so. But
Sure.
and then I'm looking at them right here, and I'm like, it's just creepy, creepy,
Oh, yeah.
creepy. The family connection and the part of standing up for self. It's like I had, I've kind of tried to play a little off center, not butt in or anything, to
Mm-hmm.
let my nieces kind of handle it and realize like, no, I'm going to have to go up there. I'm going to have to say anything that belonged to my mother. I feel comfortable taking.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take everything from me this time. When my mother died, I couldn't really take anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's real interesting you said that about making, don't make
Your
yourself
voice heard.
small
Yes.
and hearing
Mhm.
your own voice. And yeah, because when my father died, I was very young, I was in my 20s. So, anyways, I just
That's,
wanted to say that because
yeah.
in
Thank
case
you
I
for
didn't get
that.
a chance to later of
Yeah.
how it relates to us
Big
personally, I
stuff.
think,
Very big
looking at
stuff.
those
So
dates.
may I ask you, and we can look at this later, do you have any planets in Pisces
Yes,
or Virgo or the mutables?
I have Venus at 0 degrees Libra. So it's right there.
By the
Yeah,
29-degree
the 20.
Yeah,
Virgo.
right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I have planets in Gemini and rising sign is Sagittarius. But I don't have anything. That's the only thing I have close to
Mm-hmm.
29.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I have
you make
moon.
a good case study then because, I talk a lot about, the orb and I do look at orb, but this stuff affects us all. It affects
Yeah.
us all.
Mhm.
And it's going to look different for everyone,
Yeah.
but it does. It really does if you look back. Now, maybe for somebody else, it wouldn't have been the big with the gravity that you had,
Yeah.
right? But something,
Oh,
something,
yeah.
even if
Sure.
you don't have planets in Virgo or Pisces or the
Right.
mutables. But then if you do,
Honestly, it's always going to be a lunation, so
yeah,
there's that. And a lunation,
right.
we all have things we are becoming aware of and shifting through all 6 axes of pairs. So
Right.
there is
Yes.
there
Yes.
is no person that is unaffected. There are only people who are unaware.
Yeah.
I look for things like clumsiness, crankiness, um, different um, manifestations of not being themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, things happening externally, like they didn't plan on it. They didn't go looking for it, but things found them. That's another element of it, depending on what's involved. But I find that the more conscious, aware, and focused we are on processing, the easier every energy and life experience goes. The
Yeah.
more we ignore,
Oh, yeah,
God bless you.
absolutely.
You're
Absolutely.
going to need some help.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
there's my thoughts overarching before we enter in. So
And we had a huge collective event, a prominent person being assassinated
Yeah.
in the
mm,
midst of that eclipse. It was right after the eclipse that happened, right?
Yeah,
I'm
wow.
And that has shifted, that's shifting a whole bunch of stuff and causing a kind of, a very profound crisis
Oh, yeah.
in the United States.
mhm.
That, I'm looking back at those dates and the 60s, of course, is raising its head in a way.
Yeah.
So,
Have you all seen, and there, both of these happened during eclipse season. You've seen this, that it's the same date as the George Floyd death?
oh, is it?
No.
Yeah. I mean,
Mm.
different year, but
Yeah,
however
Yeah.
many years ago.
September 22nd.
I I don't remember
Okay.
no, so George Floyd died on whatever the date was, and then the fellow that just died, that just got killed, what's his name?
His date, their date's
Charlie
22nd.
Kirk.
Yes, Charlie Kirk was killed X amount of years later on the same date, and it was both during an eclipse season.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
So let
Well, and
me, yeah,
a
these are
lot of
all great.
astrologers thought some kind of something like this could happen during
Yes, do you
this
guys
month.
follow Joni Patry, or do you know who
Yes,
she
she's a
is?
friend of mine.
Well,
Yeah.
she's one that I remember talking about somebody
Yeah.
in the public eye,
Yes.
probably a politician.
Yeah, it
Is
was
it
the
is
10th,
the 10th?
September 10th. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
I also have significant familiarity with Joni as well.
oh, you
Yeah.
do? Are you kidding?
Not
I've known her
the
since
work, not the
1987.
work, not the person.
Oh, the work. Okay. Well, we lived not far from each other. She
Gotcha.
was extremely generous person. She used to teach classes in her dining room, and we paid her like $5.
Mhm.
Ridiculous. And she would open up her house every week, and whatever she was learning,
Oh,
she would teach. And then she got
Wow.
into Vedic astrology, and I owe everything I know about it to her and the people she brought to Dallas
yeah.
and how she made us study
Mhm.
something different,
Yeah.
and open up to it.
Well,
Yeah.
she's one of the ones that I know that practices Vedic astrology,
Yeah.
but she came from a Western background, so
Yeah, for
she
sure.
does
She does
synthesize
both.
both,
She does both.
and
Yeah.
that's not common. Not as
Right.
common, I only know a few astrologers that really are versed in both and can use, they don't use the outer planets, so that,
Right.
they
Right.
combine them.
It's all she ever wanted to be from the time she was a teenager. She
Wow.
wanted to be an
Mm.
astrologer. Yeah. So when she discovered Vedic astrology, she came across Crowley's book. It's got light in the title. I can't remember the title right now, but it's like a fundamental book you have to read if you're studying Vedic astrology. She didn't just read it, she memorized it.
Wow.
That's the way she is. I mean, she memorizes books. I mean, she reads them over and over. It's like she's really quite remarkable that way.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah, she's one of the ones that talked about
Yeah,
somebody is
she's
going.
one. She predicted that Trump would win the first time, and she lost a lot of people doing that. And she got over it, but now she tries to be a little more careful in what she says about political, should be more general about it.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Yeah. But she
Yeah.
did predict it, and she she told me, she said he's got that star Regulus right on his ascendant with Mars. There's nobody can defeat him.
Wow.
He can't be defeated. Yeah. But
Wow.
There
that
are other
star,
fixed stars that are prominent in his chart as well.
oh, really? He has
Yes.
other fixed. Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The
I
thing is,
I
according
don't
to, I'm sorry, you go ahead, please.
I don't want to get distracted,
Yeah,
so I'm
no.
going to try and let you finish, and
Right.
then we
Yeah.
can move on.
Okay, then we can move on. Yeah. So just to wrap that up, the Regulus anyway, the
Mm-hmm.
ancients said that yes, this is like the signature of a king, but if the energy is misused, it will cause downfall.
Oh,
So we're waiting for things to stabilize in that regard. If they try to be a nasty king, a bad king, it's not good. So
yeah, yeah,
anyway,
yeah. Wow.
so carry on.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about this. Uh, I don't know why my words, oh, there they are. The words weren't coming up. We talked about the lunar eclipse last time. So this time we're gonna the new moon a solar eclipse happens when there's a new moon. The lunar eclipse happens when it's a full moon. So here we are, we're having a new moon in Virgo, and it's creating a solar eclipse because it's near the nodes. So, and that occurs when the moon passes between the Earth and the sun, and it blocks out the sun's light. Um, and it can happen to varying degrees. So in a total eclipse, the moon completely blocks the sun. And then in an annular eclipse, the moon is further away and appears smaller, and it leaves a bright ring, also called a ring of fire. You might have heard that. And then a partial eclipse occurs when only a portion of the sun is covered. And this can be seen by observers if they're in the path of the eclipse. So, it's the start of a new a lunar cycle, like just like what Rick was saying. There's 12 new moons every year.
13.
Yes. So this happens. New moons happen all the time. Full moons happen all the time. The energy is magnified right now. It's going to be magnified when there is this kind of lunation. It can symbolize new beginnings, new intentions. If you are conscious, if you're aware of what is going on, and it can be a really good time for reflection and
Mhm.
renewal and planting seeds. Um, the the opposite, well, not necessarily the opposite, but when it's a full moon, it's a time of culmination. I like to think of it like your life has become pregnant with something, and
Mhm.
its fullness has come to pass. Um, which means you probably have to let go of release something. But this one is a new moon. So this one is in Virgo, right? And we've talked about how the last one was in Pisces. This one is in Virgo. And like Rick also kind of touched on, well, I don't know if we were on the air yet, but it's the importance of, let's remember the importance of the six axis. So the six pairs. And I say this all the time. I don't get tired of saying it because it's just so important. Because if you're on a seesaw, it is one is affected by the other one.
Mm.
It is always like that. So we don't just think of it in the singular form. Just, the Virgos are going to be affected. That's just not the case at all. And we know that here, but it's just very important to look at what is across from that, what is at a 90-degree angle from that. Do you have planets or angles? The first, the fourth, the seventh, the 10th house cusps. Really, really important. Really, really important, because if those are being affected, some stuff is going to happen in your life to shift. And I always like to look at eclipses as a time of the universe and God picking you up and just saying, over here, let's go this way, or let's change this for something better, even though we're uncomfortable with it sometimes. Not everything that happens to us, even stuff that's good, sometimes it causes stress or discomfort. Um, so let me look at this slide. Yeah, so this one is think about think about the Virgo, the energy of Virgo, and what that can feel like to you. So what house is in for you? Virgo in general, right? So let's talk about some words that come to mind when you think of Virgo. I think of I think of cleanliness, and I don't just mean physical cleanliness. I was working on these slides, and usually I would add more color, and I said to myself, no, actually, this is the way Virgo would do. This is more Virgo like clean, simplicity in that way. Virgo to me is, it's an earth sign, so it can really, it just hardworking, very do the right thing and be of good use and service to others. And because they have such high standards for themselves, sometimes they expect them from others too. And that can also be seen as critical, picky,
Yeah.
overly critical. And and if you have ever met a Virgo that's like that, you will know. You know, no, the fork doesn't lay down that way. You have to put the fork on this side and you have to all line up like this. That is the kind of energy that can take on. But really, they're usually very, I'm not saying that that's the only way it'll show up. Well, what I'm saying is if you've seen that side of Virgo, you likely, maybe, hopefully, you've seen the other side of Virgo that is just so there's just such of servitude. I used to have a boss that was a Virgo, and she would always say to me, "My God, I would never do that to you. I wouldn't want to do that task. Why would I give it to you? Let me handle it." And I thought, wow, that's a Virgo. She was very, very kind, very, very kind, and very conscientious about how she used her energy to be of service to others. She didn't know she was doing it. That was just her nature. That was just how she was. Um, so Virgo can also be, it is the sixth house, right? So the sixth house is the house where we can look at the health, the physical health, um, how you show up to serve others. Do you at all? Um, is health a struggle for you? Is health something that you're really conscious about? I know somebody that has 3 planets in the sixth house. They're not a Virgo, but this is a very health conscious person. And they're very much, um, what could I do for you? What could use me for something good? That's how he thinks. And you would, that's very Virgo like. Um, but in this case, with it being an eclipse, it's a time where I think we can use this energy to transform. These are times of transformation, I think, where if we look inward and if we're looking at our lives in any way with any kind of awareness, there is a sense of, huh, there is an opportunity here for me, and it probably has to do with some kind of change that I'm ready for. Even if I say I don't want to do it, or even if I say I'm not ready for it, the soul knows. The soul knows when it's ready for the next level. And the next level will look different for everyone. Um, I was just looking at the dates of when in the 2006, and this just happened within the last hour. I thought about my life, what was going on then. It was a job thing for me. And I have a current job thing going on. Who knows how that'll take shape? But I didn't put that together till an hour ago. How is this show? And I also had a relationship thing at that time. And I also have a relationship going on now as well, which is like some similar themes are gonna happen. They're not gonna look exactly the same,
Right.
but some shifting that may have happened back in September of 2006. Um, yeah, this is a good time for, I think, being practical about the goals that we set, the intentions that we have. People use the word
Mhm.
manifestation a lot. I don't use it all that much because I think it's overly used. But I do think these are times, especially with Virgo, that you can absolutely. I actually know somebody with a North Node in Virgo. She's an astrologer, and one of her taglines is, as a North Node Virgo person, her tagline is manifest destiny, meaning
Oh,
you have all the tools. It's like the magician card in the tarot. You have everything you need to manifest your own destiny, and you can do it. It's just a matter of you putting in the work and believing that you can, that you will.
mhm.
Um, and I always remember that because I thought that was really, really straightforward and very poignant. So, okay, we talked about this a little bit. We're not really going to see this in the Northern Hemisphere. It'll be visible in New Zealand, the South Pacific, and Antarctica. Um, so somebody will see it somewhere, but it's partial. So it won't. Remember, you guys remember the one in 2017 here in America? That was a
Mhm.
big one. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. I remember that thinking, because it was in Leo, and I remember thinking, yeah, but it's not really close to any of my planets, and I'm a Leo. And well, I was really wrong. Because I was thinking, because it was not at anywhere near 12 degrees. So I was thinking, oh, it's not going to affect me. Boy, was I wrong. So yeah, I think so let's talk a little bit about this axis, right? Virgo, Pisces. It's we talked a little bit in the beginning about how the Pisces eclipse was affected us. We heard the word surrender, seeing through maybe some unhealthy ways of dealing with people, seeing through illusions or manipulation or lack of clarity. And then, so then this one is the Virgo is the opposite of Pisces in that it's way more, it's simple, it's earthy, it's grounded. You're not going to have this nebulousness that you had with Pisces. Um, you're going to have practicality. You're going to have groundedness and
Mhm.
straightforwardness. But I also, I do give it a lot of uh, I give a lot of credit to the fact that Virgo likes to also it has a sense of purity about it as well. Um, and people use the word perfectionist, but another word that Rick liked to use for Virgos is purity. Because their intentions are usually really, they're, they're they're usually good intended people, well-intentioned people. Um, so reflection on life routines. Yeah, deep reflection on personal routines and habits. And because this is the sign that owns the domain of the sixth house, that is your everyday. What does your everyday look like? And it doesn't matter what planet you have there or what the sixth house is the house of Virgo. So yes, you have Virgo somewhere in your chart, but also take a look at your sixth house. Um, so it encourages change in as far as you do it methodically, practically, and perhaps more plan for it, as opposed to the opposite of Pisces, which would have been, I'm gonna, draw you a picture about it, and maybe I'll dream about it at night, and maybe I'll, nothing wrong with that at all. It's just a different energy, right? It's just different. And then, this also being a new moon. A new moon, I always find, is the time where you can really get clear about what it is you want. Where do you want to be 6 months from now? So look at your life now. 6 months from now is February of 2026. So where do you want to be then? What area of your life is being affected where you're going to see, I always find that I hear a lot of astrologers talk about this, really planting seeds and being very conscious of how you use the lunations. And every right around late December of every year, I look at the next year's lunations. Are any of those really, really close to any of my planets? Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not, but it doesn't matter. Even if they aren't, they rule a certain house in your chart, and you can maximize those.
Mhm.
Oh, I thought, for a second, I thought Linda was gonna say something. Um, so yeah, fostering improved systems. I feel like this is now we're gonna see this collectively too, right? This is not just about, remember, it happens personally, in our families, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, in our schools, in our churches, in our communities, in our nations, in our states, in our world. All of this applies to all of us. Nobody is exempt. So now we're going to get to what's going on with this. What's going on with this eclipse? I'm going to bring up solar fire in just a minute. But that's really where you want to look. You want to look at where is 29 degrees of Virgo in your chart? And do you have anything close to 29 degrees in Virgo, Gemini, in the mutable signs? Um, I usually, and Linda and Rick, you can tell me how you feel about this. I usually look at the squares, but you could absolutely look at the trines and the sextiles. Of course, there's going to be an energy that's going to work in an easier flow,
Mhm.
perhaps. But for example, if you have 29, what if your moon is at 20? My
There's
daughter's
some
moon.
beans in the pot.
I'm gonna,
There's
okay. So, yeah, have a look at where 29 Virgo is for you. And we could probably take a look at your charts tonight. But
Easily.
yeah, 29 degrees. Let's
Play with that.
let's chat about that because that is so big. That is
The
so,
anaretic degree.
so I'm sure you've all heard about the anaretic degree. So my throat hurts,
Mm.
and my son just brought me some tea. Um, so the anaretic degree, it gets a lot of attention because it's the last degree before it changes signs. So a lot of people call it a degree where you'll see a culmination of the energy of that sign in a planet. Um, it could also be a, a, a degree that can experience crisis. Different people are going to experience it differently, but I always find that it's really pretty meaningful. I've actually looked at this in the last couple of years. Um, I have my Mercury at 29 degrees, and and I have a T-square to that Mercury, and it's in Cancer, and I've understood it differently in the last couple of years because I've understood that crisis of that I didn't quite get. And not that I'm trying to make it a bad thing at all, but understanding it is helping me because it's, Mercury in Cancer can be very subjective thinking, very emotional, overly emotional, perhaps, in your thinking process. That can be very hard depending on how you're using it. Um, but that's a different story. So what do you have around anywhere around 29 degrees, or where's your Virgo house? That's your first homework. I see Jane looking at something. Maybe she's looking at her chart.
Yeah, I've got Jupiter in Virgo at 25 and 44 minutes, is if that's how you call it. So basically close to 26 degrees. So that's ish. It's getting
Yeah,
there.
it's a 4-degree orb.
Yeah.
I like it for you. If Jupiter, I'll be honest, Jupiter can tend to expand things, right? So hopefully something is beneficial or something is harmonious with your Jupiter. For example, I'll give you an example. It can expand anything. Jupiter is a really great planet to have anywhere. But what if, like, I don't know, you curse too much, you eat too much, it's
You
a
have investments that can expand your returns.
That'd be
right.
nice.
You you are prone to water weight. It can pack it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. Lately, I certainly have.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is we'll take a look at that because depending on the aspects your Jupiter is making, and you just want to be aware of it. That doesn't mean it's going to be, I'm just saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying, let's look at
Yeah.
that because it is close. It is
Mhm.
close. And Jupiter is probably one of the nicest planets to have near an eclipse. I just had that with the last eclipse. It was really close to mine, and I experienced a lot, way more wisdom than I thought I would. That's for
Mhm.
Isn't
sure.
that lovely? And
Yes.
so that's my Virgo's my 8th house. So I don't know.
Oh,
So
I
yeah,
that that
cool.
that is I personally think that's an opportunity for a whole lot of wisdom. Yeah.
Yes.
Certainly also will help you with resilience as well.
Oh, that's good. Gosh, we all need that, don't we, at the moment? But
Mhm.
yes, thank you.
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah. So I'm going to bring up solar fire and we can look at this chart because we need to look at what it's doing aside from the fact that it is at 29 degrees of Virgo. Because
You mean those inconjuncts, those quincunxes?
Especially
yeah,
with Mars.
well, let me share my screen. Okay. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Let me get this picture out of the way because there's stuff that shows up here. So, oh, let me use my favorite little tool.
Yeah.
Okay. So here is the action in Virgo, right? Um, and then this is what I wanted to call your attention to right off the bat. And that's going to be a big deal.
Mhm.
It's going to be a big deal, and it's up to you to use it however you see fit. But this this opposition is a big signature of, there's other stuff going on, and we'll go over those, but that's a big deal because look at the sun, look at the moon, look at Saturn, and it's next to Neptune. So to me, this tells me, you know, absolutely there's a clearing. There's a clearing that can take place now in that Virgo house for you. And we can look at what that is, but it's an opportunity for you to get very serious about something and making a commitment to some kind of change in your life, wherever your Virgo house is, and whatever that theme is. Because, and it actually, when I first looked at this, I said, oh no. That's what I said. And then I said, oh, this could be very helpful. This could be the thing. Remember, Saturn helps you. Saturn helps you in a way that not a lot of other planets have, that quality of stick to itness, right? And that level of commitment that we need to make real change in our lives. And that could be something as simple as I want to drink more water every day, or I'm going to move to another country, and how am I going to do that? I want to do that within a year. Let's just, or, it could be something else.
Can I add one?
Please.
Neptune being very watery and emotional, especially in Pisces. Saturn may offer a little bit of an a down-to-earth approach to navigating your emotions with a little bit of structure and not letting them run away with you.
Yeah.
And how helpful can that be in trying times?
Yeah. Can anybody use some of that? Yeah.
We could have church, and can I get an amen too?
Okay, amen, amen.
Yes. Amen for sure. Because that's something I actually wanted to touch on. I was outside today thinking about the eclipse and tonight, and the significance of Saturn is about to leave this sign. It won't be back for a long time. So
30 years
Saturn's
almost.
been in Pisces for 2 years. It's got 6 more months before it goes into Aries.
Permanently.
So and it's gonna travel between, it's at 28 degrees right now. It's gonna go, I think it's gonna go to 27, and then it'll go forward again. So basically, it's in the last 3 degrees of Pisces. Okay? Saturn in Pisces. They're very interesting energies because they're kind of opposing energies in a way, or really they're
Do
not
you mean
energies that you would put together.
it's going into right, okay, instead of Aries. It's in
Right.
right.
Meaning that Pisces is, watery and boundless and ethereal, and Saturn is practical and earthy and committed and grounded and structured. They couldn't be more, they're quite different. So how do we use this Saturn to our best is to get really, really serious about how we're using how we're tuning into ourselves, because I think Piscean energy is very much about surrendering to the divine, but the divine within ourselves. And Saturn is going to help us. It's going to say, hey, it brings a sense of uh, almost like a clarity that feels almost cold, but it isn't cold. It's actually there to help you. It's actually there to say, hey, hey, don't get lost in the water, in the emotion of it all. Let's bring it to reality, but in a good way. It's not that it's going to be, it's actually going to be the best use of the water. I've understood it differently when I started to think about it again today, because it's an awkward combo.
Mhm.
Um, but when you put it against this eclipse, so it's opposing Virgo, so this is such a good opportunity for us to actually be completely committed to a new beginning where that Virgo house is. And but then there's another layer I want to add. There's also some kind of release because it's a south node. It's on the south node.
Mhm.
So I'll give you an example. I've realized how my negative thinking about a certain thing in my life has really just become such a self-sabotage thing. I'm sick of it. I'm finally sick of it. But it took a lot of pain to get to this point where I've gotten sick of myself, right? In that way, where I keep kind of like stepping on my own foot and stepping on my own dream and stepping on the freedom that I'm actually the one shackling myself. So this is a good opportunity for me to begin again by letting go of that. So usually an ending and a beginning can be a very much in the very same moment, a death, a birth.
Ending of a chapter, beginning of a new.
Yeah, turn the page, but that means you got to let go of the page before. You've done that.
Mhm.
Okay, so now let's get onto this page. And this is and what is Virgo? Overly critical, over analyzing.
Very regimented in the way it boxes things in.
Yes. Oh my
And
God.
the Saturn Neptune energy is all about trying to find, maybe it is trying to contain emotions and waters, but at the same time, those waters, if they're not contained to some degree, can be overwhelming. So it's possibly a very good thing. So it
Mhm.
almost feels like we're letting go of old mindsets, old structures that may no longer serve us,
Mhm.
and looking for something new as a container. How can we re-envision these things?
Yeah. Yeah. How can you re-envision? That's a beautiful way to put it. How
Maybe
can you?
30 years ago we did it one way when
Yes.
Saturn was in this space, and we learned some things then. This is a great time to go ahead and tweak what we learned then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it is going to look different for all of us. There is this axis has to do big time with uh the physical and the non-physical. Whatever that means to you, that means your physical body, your earth, your stuff, your physical reality. And that often means the Virgo is, health, right? Physical health versus mental health, subconscious mind, unseen territory. So what do you have to let go of to release that overly analyzing, expecting things to go a certain way? Expecting things to go a certain way um is a good setup for disappointment. And I mean, to a certain extent, it's good to have dreams and ideas and all this stuff, but you have to you have to be able to be adaptable. And um, Saturn, I think, is going to help us. So the fact that I think it's very meaningful that the fact that Saturn is opposing it, because for some it may be like, well, it's going to block. It's not going to. It's just how you look at it. It's going to ground it in reality is what it's going to do. In
Yeah, when you think of Pisces too, remember there's two fish, their heads are in different direction. I've I've heard that before in the earliest experiences of describing it. One is moving towards the head and the other towards the heart, giving you a little bit of an understanding of how that can be.
yeah.
But a more recent one was that one is right looking up to the heavens and the other is looking down to earth. And
Oh,
that's kind
wow.
of what's going on with the Pisces
I love
Virgo.
that. Yes. Oh my gosh,
Interesting.
I love that. I'm going to remember that. I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's a new one for me too. So I thought, oh, if it's new to me, maybe it hasn't circulated for a while. It would be good to go ahead and recirculate.
Yeah, that's really, really
And I can see how it makes it
beautiful.
easier for me to think of Saturn working with Neptune, because Saturn is more that down to earth expression of the spirituality. So is there more of an integration going on? And maybe
Mm-hmm.
this is invitation to integration.
Big time. I mean, that's what I think. It is an that's another good way to put it is all this is an invitation. You choose what you want to do with your life, and you're going to choose what you want to do in terms of your health, your mental health, your physical health, your job, your all this stuff. But this is what is on offer. And you don't, you're still going to do what you're going to do. And I think depending on the level of maturity, consciousness, you're going to you're going to go in this direction um, at that level. So whereas 15 years ago, 18 years ago, you would have thought a certain way about this axis, now you're going to act differently because you are, hopefully you've changed since, in 18 years. So that was one of the things that I think it's actually really, again, when I looked at this, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be tough. And now I'm looking at it a very different way. It's actually going to be very helpful. And it, you know, I think we need it too. I think we need it. We have this other oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. Doggone it. I'm sorry. I have to erase it. I just like to use these little doohickeys. So, um, oh, I'm sorry. I've screwed it up. I,
Do you want to use the box again and just throw that box under Uranus and deal with the finger of God?
well, I'm trying, except the pen thing isn't coming up. Oh, okay, 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 okay. I got it. I got it now. Sorry, sorry. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this.
There you go.
This right here is another helpful energy, and this is powerful. This is powerful. Um, I know we use the word power when it comes to Pluto, but anytime you put the outer planets in a harmonious aspect like this is using that energy in the best or in the highest form, right? When it's they're working well together. So Uranus and Pluto working well together. That's, and we're going to have this. We're lucky because this is real change. This is generational change, which I'm loving because of everything that's going on in the world. This is change that um, is collectively happening with trying to break out of old ways of doing things, of using Gemini energy. Gemini energy is uh, quick. It's it can be
Youthful.
very much so. Which, in fact, that was the first word that came to mind. I said something else, but youthful was the one of the things, and I keep telling people I just have so much, I have so much hope for the generations behind us that I just think they're going to make such a big difference. So Pluto and Uranus working well together is lovely at a time where so much unrest is going on. And since we're going to have this for a couple of years, I'm hoping that all the change that's going on is going to lead to something that's going to be more progressive, that's going to be more for the people. Because somebody here, I think it was Jane, said, you know, the US is really no longer for the people. So that reminded me of Pluto and Aquarius, because Aquarius is for the people. So Pluto comes along, and actually, next time we meet, we're going to talk about Pluto and Aquarius again, because this bears another look, and we're probably going to do that, you know, in X amount of months, because we're going to have Pluto and Aquarius for 20 years. We've only just begun to see the change that is beginning to happen. We haven't even touched the surface of what this is going to do for our world. And uh, Pluto, what does it do? It wants to kind of, it gives birth anew, but it can't do that without basically destroying something that isn't working. And the darkness is going to start to come out about where we haven't been for the people, where we're currently not for the people. We're for the greedy, we're for the self-serving, we're for the ones with agendas. And that is not what Pluto wants, and he's not going to have it. And it's going to be a very, it's going to be extremely apparent. And then Uranus comes along, and this is like wildfire. It's fast and it's moving, it's movement, big movement. And it's going to be, I mean, technology, science, and but also just in ourselves. This is energy coming through us, all of us. And all the kind of the protesting, the revolution that we're seeing right now is gonna, I think, lead way to something eventually where somebody's not gonna have a choice but to listen to the people. And I mean many somebodies, not just in the US,
If I
worldwide.
could, if I could piggyback on that, you have a grand water trine that is in a kite formation with Saturn Neptune here as the catalyst to turn it into a um, focal point being Virgo, where
Mm-hmm.
everybody's trying to get it right. There's a big push to getting things precise. And Pluto also rules the masses. Uranus is all about awakening. And and this eclipse factored from Greenwich shows what the entire planet is experiencing. Uranus is in the house of the ancestors. What will it
Mm-hmm.
awaken as we have these personal emotional connections to what our forebears lived, loved, fought, and died for, that will be stirred, with Mercury being at the apex, because the sun's going to hit it 3 days after. That'll be the 24th. And then it's going to really, I'd be curious to see what happens in the news on the 24th. But then it's going to hit Mercury, and Mercury is the um one representative of the gods that can actually communicate with Pluto and go into the underworld. And
Mm-hmm.
Uranus is about connection with the ancestors who are in the underworld. This just looks like if anybody wanted to go ahead and dive into mediumship, this is good auspices to go ahead and take a step in that journey. This would really be some powerful awakening for personal shamanic work, mediumship. It would be some great stuff.
Yeah. It kind of reminds.
Not to mention Pluto's in T square to the Mars Chiron opposition.
Yeah.
So
So let
uh,
me,
yeah.
yeah. Let me take my little eraser here. And yeah, that is another one that I wanted to talk about, which is this, this, and it's making a T square, is it not?
To Pluto.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, and to Jupiter from a different angle, but yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is big because this right here, this is, and it's got Aries next to it.
And it is part of this yod that was mentioned by Linda.
Yes. This is, you know what this reminds me of? We're not gonna take it.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
There's 2 yods.
So let's find,
Oh, the Venus apex.
Yeah.
Thank you.
uh,
So a Venus
oh,
apex
here.
and a Mars apex.
Correct.
I wonder if this is, we know that we had some activity around women standing up for,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And Venus is in square to Uranus in this experience too.
Mm,
So there's
mhm,
still a little bit of um fire lighting going on, so to
mm,
speak.
yeah. Fire lighting, is that what you said?
Yes, lighting a fire under somebody.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I wonder if we should go, actually, before I leave, if there's anything else that I wanted to point out. Um, Something is happening. Oh, the next day, Scorpio, Mars is going to go into Scorpio. That's what it was.
So that ends up being a cardinal cross. Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
There's a cardinal cross and 2 yods. So
Exactly.
it's a pressure cooker with fated events.
Wow.
Because the grand square is like a pressure cooker, and within that we have these fated things happening because
Yes.
that's destiny, karma, and destiny being ignited with the 2 yods, one with Mars and one with Venus
Right.
as apex. So it's down, it's not like lofty, it's not like, oh, the gods are playing in the clouds. It's like in the streets.
Yes.
Right, right.
Big time. Big time.
Yeah, Venus and Mars makes it personal, even though the planets involved in the yods are outer planets except for Saturn.
Right. But the apex planets are very personal. So
Right.
if
That's
somebody's got something at those degrees, 29 degrees of Libra or 2 degrees of Leo, I would say there's something, can be good, but something fated
mhm.
is going on. And for our country, I don't know. I haven't really checked it with the United States or anybody else, but it's definitely there's some kind of fatedness going on.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a 2-degree-ish of with Uranus in Mercury in Leo.
Okay.
Don't know. So can I ask what's a yod?
Oh, go ahead, Rick.
It is two inconjuncts that are
Okay.
met at one planet that it creates the apex, and that one apex planet is in opposition to two planets that are in sextile. So you
Okay.
have a sextile at the base and the inconjuncts up to the apex of the triangle. So it's 150, 30, and 150.
Okay.
Oh,
I have them colored in purple. They're called finger of God, meaning that something something's going on that has to do with the divine or with some kind of destiny or fate. I don't call it with clients. I no longer call it finger of God. I call it hand of God. Like the divine is reaching out a hand, and a lot of times that apex is something that somebody has to do. It's just part of their job in life. Like if they have the moon and that apex, they're going to be helping people.
so
They
the Mars apex and the Venus apex are going to experience a different manifestation.
yes. I don't
Thanks,
know.
Claudia. That's
Mm-hmm.
great. And I was going to say, so I'm just taking that all in, and the fact that it's just so significant right across the world, because we're looking at this on a, yeah, anyway,
Well,
it's
another way to look at Venus and Mars, Venus is saying, what do you want? Mars is saying, how are you going to get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Mars is that drive to go after something. Venus is that drive to decide, now I got it, I know what I want, and I'm going to bring
Yes.
it in.
yeah, and
Mhm.
My Venus is 0 degrees of
Yeah.
Aries. I
Oh,
don't know if that's, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you've got, like, I remember you talking about this, Claudia. And yeah, life is interesting at the moment for everyone, isn't it? It
Yes.
just feels like
yes.
I've got
Oh,
Saturn
yeah.
and Neptune down there anyway, yeah.
Um, Jane, with Neptune down on your Venus at the moment, um, try not to be distracted by the confusion that it can give you on figuring out what you want, and
Reading
press
my mind.
press into the artistry and artistic nature that Venus and Neptune, as they merge, can give you breakthroughs, because your creativity will help you to navigate the confusion.
Oh, thank you. Far
Beautiful.
out. That's just,
I could see
yeah.
automatically that would be a hiccup.
Oh man, I'm definitely in confusion at the moment. So that is beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone. Thanks, everyone.
Let's see where your Virgo is. Yeah, it's in your eighth. You know, when Rick mentioned mediumship, I thought, oh, Jane has Jupiter in the eighth house
Natally,
natally. This could be
right.
a time if you were ever interested in any kind of real esoteric um,
Studies.
mediumship, studying, yes, any kind of
I am, yeah.
divination.
Okay, good.
The wind is in your sails, I think.
It's that thing too, Claudia, isn't it? For me and all of us, there's that doubt. It's like, oh no, Jane. But really, I'm very interested in that.
Oh,
Well, you've been interested from birth with Jupiter there,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know.
yeah.
It's letting go and letting it, let it be. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
Yeah, which is Jupiter and Virgo, I think can, this is one of the times that I will use this appropriately, is a, they can manifest, that they can absolutely manifest whatever they want because they can bring it to reality, to practical, everyday, something tangible. Um, Ironically, this is not a tangible house, although it could be if you look at resources and money, but because it's one of the money houses. But one of the things, one of the blind spots with having it in Virgo is that you could be your own worst critic. So you, like you just said, so you just have to know that, okay, you know what I try to do sometimes? I just say, oh yeah, I'm doing that thing. I see myself doing that. But that's
Mm.
not real. That's just my thoughts. It's not,
That's so good. And I know I've been really doing a lot of work in that area, but you're right.
you have.
I'm just going through that period at the moment of, well, confusion and doubt, but then, thank you for this beautiful time with you guys. It
Yes, we love
just
it. And we love you
lifts.
being here. But yeah,
Thank you.
that's really great energy to tap into if
I
you're into
will.
it. Yeah.
I will. Don't you worry. That's fabulous.
That's wonderful. So why don't we look at Miss Linda? You want to look at your chart, Linda?
We
You
got
talking to
two
me?
Lindas.
We have,
Oh,
Two
right.
Lindas.
I think you should do mine next because my Venus is exactly opposite Jane's, and I want to say something about that for both of us.
Okay, okay. Can you see Linda's chart?
Yes.
Okay. Linda Sprague. Okay. So let's look at Linda. Um, your
Oh, and you
Venus.
have Eris opposed to your Venus.
Yes.
How lovely.
Get out of my
Uh,
way. So
and
the
you,
eclipse is very close. Well, it's right there at my Venus. But what I wanted to say for Jane, Saturn in I said it gets to 0 degrees of Aries, which it won't do really until next February. But we're feeling it. We've been feeling it all year. Whenever Saturn and Venus connect, there is a lot of doubt. There's self doubt and a sense of insecurity. And I haven't felt this. I shouldn't be feeling this at my age, but I have even felt it, like self doubt around everything I'm doing. Uh,
Yeah.
and it's strange because I know it's like I'm supposed to learn something from that as opposed to like make friends with something there. And it'll happen, I think. Um,
mhm,
what I've told clients in the past is like when Saturn and Venus are closely connected, it requires a kind of devotion to something. We only feel good about ourselves if we're devoted in some way, whether it's to our spiritual path or to our work or a practice of some kind or whatever the devotion is, that usually will help us feel good about ourselves.
Okay. Thanks, Linda. That's really helpful. Thank
Can you
you.
relate to that? Because
I
I
think
can.
it's an
I
energy.
can.
Oh, yeah.
I think too that treating that as a need to engage in a little bit of Saturn karma remediation, you can spend some time, maybe on a Saturday, revering the elders, connecting. That is the day of Saturn, and Friday is the day of Venus. So you can do it Friday and Saturday, change it up a bit, and um, do some things that are going to reaffirm in your own mind, value women, value elders, look out for animals, because animals are less powerful than we are, and that's where animals and children are where it ends up, and the elderly is some of the stuff that the service to Saturn is helping out with. And Saturn will smile on that.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's great.
Thank you both. I'm serious. Thank you, Rick and Linda. I mean, I have Saturn Venus conjunction in my chart.
Yeah.
And I'm really always glad to hear a new way of looking at it, because it's one of my things that can be a little tough. Or I've seen it played out in a tough way throughout my younger years, but now I still do. I still do. I never thought about it like that. Thank you guys. So yeah,
So
Linda's,
the eclipse is affecting the third and ninth houses, both eclipses. And like I mentioned earlier, I've had all this concern around my sister, and that's the
yes,
third house, and she is a Pisces. So there's just a lot going on with that,
definitely.
and it creates a lot of change internally, externally, of course, it too, but internally it just,
Yeah.
Is that sister your eldest sibling?
yeah, I only have one sibling.
I didn't know how many, so I had to
Yeah,
ask. Yeah.
yeah,
So she's also represented by your third house. So
right.
yeah. That's the only reason I was asking, for those
Yeah.
out there in YouTube world that don't know the
Right,
connection.
I know.
between
Sorry. I
they
didn't
don't all
mention.
know
The only one.
siblings
Yeah.
are a third house thing.
Yes.
And,
this
more
third house.
particularly for the first sibling. And that's why I asked the question in the
Oh, I didn't realize that it's mostly the
right.
first sibling. Okay.
Right. So if there were a second, you would utilize the fifth house for the second,
Okay.
because the second is third from the third.
Okay. Got it.
Can you say that one more time, Rick?
I know it looks weird. The fifth is third from the third,
Yep.
because if you count the third as the first house of sibling, the fourth would be second, the fifth would then be third.
Yep.
Mhm.
Just
And
and it's awkward until you hear it explained. That's why I felt I should go into the detail.
And that would be the next sibling. In other words, the
Correct.
younger sibling. Gotcha. No,
Right.
that's great. That's great to know. I forgot to say too, a little off topic, but not too much. Just because this story's been unfolding for Linda with her sister. So this Virgo Pisces axis runs from September of 24 through February of 27. And this September solar eclipse is the only solar eclipse. The rest are lunar eclipses. It's the fourth eclipse in this sign set. This one is. So
Out
very
of 5 eclipses,
in this axis.
only one of them is
Yep,
solar.
is solar. And this one is it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I
Very.
know somebody whose birthday is on the 21st. I have one of my children has their moon at this very degree. And I know somebody else who has something really, really significant. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm watching. And I'm, of course, with my children having their moon, one of my kids having their moon at 29
You're
Virgo, I'm like,
worried.
oh, I hope it's not me. But we're watching this. We're watching this, and a lot will happen in this axis that we'll look back on, and then after this, it'll be, uh Leo Aquarius eclipses. So yeah, that's where Linda, let's go to our other Linda, our other um our other Linda, who I always put, so I have different folders. I'm sorry, guys. I have to look at my unplugged folder. There you are. Okay, Linda, here we go. Can you see Linda?
Linda Jordan's chart is up.
Fabulous. Okay. Uh, oh, wait a minute. No. That's uh,
Because this is a new moon,
mhm.
I'm going to mention that it made me add the asteroid Hecate in. And Hecate for this lunation happens to be at 20 degrees of Scorpio, your ascendant, Linda.
You mean, okay, right now.
Well, the transiting Hecate for the time of the eclipse
Gotcha.
will position Hecate right there.
Hmm. Something to take note of, Linda. Write it down.
I have to unmute myself. Sorry. Tell me about Hecate. I don't know that one.
uh, very active at night.
Oh,
um, a goddess of the underworld, very justice oriented. The 100th asteroid named because Hecate and uh, hectare all come from the structure of the word 100. Yeah. Um, there, she is considered the triple moon goddess in some way because she has the faces of maiden, mother, and crone. So there's a lot of interesting occult significance and delightful energy for people that are fascinated by the moon.
Mm.
me.
She also is a crossroads in Greek mythology.
Huge.
She is a crossroads, so we approach her with reverence and find out which way we're going.
Mm-hmm.
So her dog is the guardian of hell, of the underworld. When people have a bad crisis, Hecate is showing them into the underworld and guarding them. So if you have any kind of crisis going on, that would be, fortunately not. That's good. So
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I think there's crises and then there's crises.
yeah,
I mean, there's the bad sense of that, which is, I'd be struggling with something, but it's like everything in my life is new right now. I mean, everything is new. I mean,
good crossroads.
the work, the president of the university is new, the vice president for academic affairs is new, and they're wanting us to do new things and picking up some old things in a new way. Um, I can't, 22 years with the same therapist and she retired yesterday.
Whoa.
So that whole piece of my life is now new and I have to figure out, I mean, like every week for the last 22 years, except when she traveled, which was fairly often. But it wasn't like we were doing some sort of deep psychotherapy, laying on the couch, doing my mother kind of thing. It was like I would say, hey, this is what's going on at work. And then we would talk about how to manage it. And we did that every week for 22 years.
Wow.
And yesterday was our last.
Wow, that's huge.
That's huge. This is
enormous.
Everything's new. And
That's your eclipse.
I'm thinking
So
that's,
big.
if that thing is sitting on my right, what do you call that
Your
thing?
ascendant.
My ascendant, that might mean something.
Yes, it may. I would expect this particular eclipse to open some large things up for you to navigate new ways of looking at your crises and crossroads.
I mean, I don't feel like it's a negative crisis,
No,
No.
but I think it's one of those things that I'm walking through a doorway and
Mhm.
the door's going to shut behind me.
mm-hmm.
There's not going to be a reversal. I mean, it's going
Right.
to be
Yeah.
forward motion of some sort.
Mhm.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It's like
Um,
a threshold to the underworld, and it's not a bad thing because the underworld does not have to be scary.
and I don't, no, I'm not, none at all. I mean, what if you study Joseph Campbell is you have to go to the underworld. That's
Yes,
Yeah.
where the
of course.
heroes are.
right.
Yes.
So, So if you're going, you have to, I mean, all my favorite movies, they're down there and they're down there underground. That's a symbol of something, and then you come back up and,
It makes sense with Scorpio ascendant and the moon in Scorpio, because that is the underworld.
yeah,
Right.
and I'm not at all uncomfortable with that. Seriously.
Mm.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is I don't ever want to be buried. I do not want to be under the ground forever.
Oh.
I have a thing about
Same.
that. That's not, I'll be the first person in my family to be cremated. I'm just not doing, I'm not gonna, no, we're not.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one, Linda. I'm
I
definitely
mean,
the same.
I want to be out and I want to be out on the earth. I want to be out. I want to be out. I don't want to,
Yes.
but
Don't want to suffocate.
that's
Right.
another,
Yep.
that's right. I mean, it's so creepy. I can't even, I don't understand why anybody would think about doing that, but okay, never mind about that.
Okay, that's
so,
great.
I
Wow.
wondered about, like, I have that, I'm in my Virgo is the 10th house, I don't,
Mhm.
Right.
you know, um,
Next year, Linda, you're going to have an eclipse right on these, right very close to this and this.
oh, that's
Um,
gonna be really big, huh?
yeah, and I mean, because look, your nodes are where the node, you're having a nodal return. So you have, we've talked about this before, and I can't, I mean, I just think this is very big. This is very big. 2024, September 2024 to February 2027. Your life is going to take on I think, a way more heartfelt sort of looking at your own life, um, in a way that is going to probably force you in some way, which I feel like you've already done, but like dealing with your own shadow as well. But uh, this
Yeah,
is
it doesn't this
big.
doesn't feel forced for Linda. This feels like joyfully embraced.
Yeah, you're at the, I don't think, maybe if I was talking to you 40 years ago or something, it'd be
Oh,
different.
like
But
10 years
this is,
ago.
you're coming to a new, like you just said, like that door is opening.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's like really, it's so clear to me. I mean, we're, we had this whole big thing last week with the inaugural of our president, and again, big openings, big new changes. Like it's not the same institution, and it's like, you walk in and you feel differently. You know that the mission is different, and there's new things going on. It's all good. None of it's
Yeah.
bad.
Mhm.
It's all good. But we had a meeting last week about the humanities, and that years ago I was the division chair of the humanities, and I used to do like forums. Like if something would happen, like Hurricane Katrina, I'd put together a forum, and 4 or 5 people would talk, and 100 people would show up, and we would talk about all that stuff, and that's what was normal. And we stopped doing that because the place wasn't conducive to that anymore. Now it's conducive again. And I decided sitting in this meeting that we needed to have a forum about the assassination. That,
Mm-hmm.
just assassination in general. What does it mean to do that? What is that act? How, and not just who did it, not that trivial stuff, but what's this meaning in the world? And then my boss said to me today, my department chair, she said we don't want to do assassination, we want to do free speech. And I said, well, that's the same thing. Because when you assassinate someone, you're shutting them up for good, and then
Mm.
what happens afterwards, what gets to be talked about, and so on and so forth. So
And he was
Yeah.
very vocal with his
yeah.
free speech
Well, right,
for himself.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, okay, no, I had a panel in my head, and I sort of nixed one person. I said, I got to get somebody who can come in and talk about free speech. And then I said to myself, I can do that. I can do that. I'm the one that needs to do that. And that would never
Mm.
have come into my mind 6 months ago. I would be looking for somebody else. And
Isn't that great?
Oh, that's wonderful.
so I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with me, but I'm going with it. I'm going,
Oh,
Yay.
I love it.
we'll see.
Remember we talked about
Mhm.
Yeah.
how we're using our voices?
Yeah.
Sure.
I have some things to say. And the good thing about me is the thing about being a Libra is that's going to be the tricky part. And we have a profiler, an FBI profiler who works for us. And I've got a historian who can talk about the historical side of it. And we have a psychologist who's going to come in and talk about the trauma of it.
Wow.
But the whole free speech thing is where you can get into all kinds of trouble with politics and all that stuff. But I'm a Libra. I can drive down that road and stay inside the lines and make people go, oh, it's this and this. It's this and this. It's this.
Right.
This. So
That's what we gotta
Yeah.
have. We gotta have that. We
I'm
need
re-
people
I'm-
who are gonna explain that life is an essay. It's not a true false
Yeah.
test.
that's
We're
exactly
living in a
right.
true false
Yes.
test, and it's such a drag.
Mhm.
So that's, so I'm interested, that whole nodal return thing. Oh my God. Because there's so much going on that axis because I got that Venus and Mars there too. Ugh.
Well, that nodal axis return is about you really digging into the understanding of what you came here to teach and what you came to learn.
Well, the learning is just every day. I mean, it's just such, it's like every day, and I just got to I have to just find new ways to do it now because if Rick D is gone and my therapist retired. I feel very abandoned right now. That's
But
them.
think about this. How about if you were to reframe it? And I'm not just being Pollyanna about it. I'm serious.
Now you're being polite.
Because it's possible, is it possible that you yourself can be the source of whatever they helped bring into your life? Your therapist is your therapist. Rick is Rick. Yes, you're not going to replace those people and what they brought. But perhaps this is like you on some level, you're taking that on yourself, that wisdom, that learning, that teaching, that really embodying that.
The invitation to go ahead and internalize who they are and what they have been to you.
Well, I mean, yeah, that, and that's like, I mean,
Yeah, that.
don't we all talk to Rick? Is there anybody else here who does not talk to Rick? Do we talk to Rick?
We all
Talk
I
to
talked
Rick.
to Rick.
I
Okay.
talk to Rick.
I talk to Rick
Yes.
too. So that one isn't hard.
Yeah.
That one isn't hard. Now my therapist, there's certain things that she has ingrained in me. We laughed about this yesterday, things that she says that I thought, like her favorite phrase is "that's not help." I would tell her something and tell her what I was going to do about it, and she'd say, "That's not helpful." That's not helpful.
We
And so,
need that.
so I just, I get these ideas sometimes, and then I say, "No, that's not helpful," But it's for me, it's helpful. It is helpful to have someone to bounce things off. That's a Libra thing too.
It is.
You don't
Yes,
want to
you're
be,
right.
you don't want to
Yeah.
be out there in the world with your scorpionic thoughts and your notions of vengeance and you're wanting to slap people in the face. No, I mean, seriously. Scorpios, you know how we are. The scorpionic part of me, I, s- one of the soccer coach a couple weeks ago did something that really made me mad, and I turned around to my boss and said, "I want to punch him in the face," and I think I shocked her.
That's so funny.
Yeah, so I'm done. Well, thank you very much. This was
Call
helpful.
me. We'll have coffee talk.
Well, I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need it. I'm sure. But we'll
In
see.
the meantime, hang in there because you're doing great. I mean, you're doing great. I just think this is a time where, like Rick said, you're gonna start really seeing it's gonna be more clear to you why you're here and why you're here on a soul level to learn and to teach. And a lot of it is to do with fourth house stuff because Pisces is your North Node is in Pisces in the fourth house. Um, that's very that's very watery, feeling,
And
emotional,
I hate feeling. That's
right?
that's my least favorite thing.
Yeah. So guess
I
why?
would, I would,
You
please.
gotta you gotta read Astrology for the Soul. Just read the chapter on North Node in Pisces. I'll see if I can scan the chapter for you.
Oh
It's
no,
just
I can.
oh my God, it's so good. Oh my gosh. I could eat that book.
Oh,
Is
good.
that a Jan Spiller?
Yes.
Chancellor, yeah.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
is a good book.
Yeah, but it just explains a lot, things that
It's
you know,
helped me a lot.
things
too.
about you that you couldn't even put into words.
I
And
know.
she just, oh, she just gets right to it and touches on every aspect of your personality, your psyche, what you're here to do, what you're here to let go of. Really good, really good. Especially at a nodal return time, you know?
Well, I,
Um,
I think that would be a very good. I just bought it on Amazon, so
You can't go wrong with that
nice.
book.
You cannot. You cannot. I
It just-
mean,
You can
it's,
look
I
up
think
all your
everybody should have that
friends.
book.
it
Seriously.
wanted my Face ID. Sorry, so I had to do that. I just bought the book. I just
When you
bought the
get
book.
the book and you read the, call me.
Okay.
Seriously, I'm serious.
You know, but that's the other thing is that, you know, I certainly want this group to grow and thrive. That's it's a little worry I have in the back of my head that, you know, and maybe right now we need to be small. Maybe that's why we are small.
Yeah.
But, you know, you know, this is, you know, every other week, this is very important. So I'm just going to say that. Let it go.
Thank you for saying that, Linda. I feel like thank you for saying that.
Yeah, it's really, I'm
I
with
kind of
you
needed
on
that.
that.
I really
Yeah.
needed to hear that. Thank
Well,
you.
there's not that many people out in the world that we can talk to about
Yeah.
Sure.
Not like, no. There's literally nobody in my life that I can talk to the way I talk to you guys.
Well, there you go.
Same. Just really
I mean,
so great.
I do talk to people and then they look at me like, oh, you believe in astrology. Okay. And I say, all right, you know, you Virgo, you. You know, there are two kinds of Virgos. There's Virgos that are hoarders and there are Virgos who are hyper neat. I don't know if you've ever, because I know both kinds.
That's hilarious. No, I know. I mean, it's my favorite thing to talk about. Not just astrology in itself, but everything that it represents in terms of your
Yeah.
soul growth, your spiritual development. It's really just amazing to me that it gets looked at the way it does because
Sure.
it's a tool for me, even if you don't look at it the way I do, but just what better way for self truth. I always feel like, because it's like if I were to take out my phone and I saw a picture of myself and I try to deny that, say I have dark hair. Well, you look at I look at myself and I go, well, no, I actually do have dark hair. I'm not blonde. I thought I was blonde. You have to look at yourself in a very honest way. And then that's how you can learn and grow. And I don't, and it seems stupid the way I just said it, but it's really a tool for, to me, it's very spiritual.
Mhm.
But to some people, it can even just be practical in that way. So, um, okay,
So Rick,
Rick.
Yes. Here.
are you at the threshold of some new financial understanding or breakthrough around your self-worth and money and abundance? Anything like that?
I do see some things coming together. Yeah. Some we just got word that a small tribe of ours is going to be able to go on the road to different locations and do mini psychic fairs.
Great.
Fabulous.
Like
Wonderful.
it can be a
Yeah.
small shop and it'll just be 3 practitioners, you know. So we're going to have different things to offer and it'll just be us so we can be in a small shop and help the small shops that are out there and around. Then it gets our name out there and we can do things remotely as well.
Yeah,
It's
excellent.
great.
Well,
That's
Venus
just something
rules the
current.
top of your chart. Venus rules the top of your
Right.
chart.
Right.
So this eclipse seems to me it would really activate your
Right.
place in the world, and and the return that comes with that, the exchange that
I
comes
do
with
believe
that.
even the volunteer work that I do is going to turn a lot of things to bring attention to the material work that I
Yeah.
produce.
Right.
So there will be writing involved later
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that'll definitely.
Yes, I definitely see that
Nice.
for
Mhm.
you. That's for sure.
Yeah, and that makes sense too, that writing about everyday matters would have that Libra connection for the third house, giving me some income, with Venus in the second.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. That's great.
Mm.
Yeah, this nodal axis is really affecting your Pisces Virgo because you have planets in both.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
big self-worth, money.
Partnering for
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
um
intellectual collaborators.
yeah,
Um,
collaboration. Because that's eighth house too. I always think of eighth house as the result of the seventh of,
Yeah.
what
Right.
happens from relationship or partnership, whether it's business or personal.
And I realized that in the past several years I've been creating, even though occasionally short terms, they have been think tanks. And
There you go.
look
Yeah.
at that Jupiter in the 11th,
Yes, that's great. Yeah.
people that I can entrust to intellectually challenge and come together to flesh out ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's a
I
good
see
thing to
that
do.
big time for you, Rick. Big, big, big time. The next few years, I feel like are going to be.
Yeah, I keep this hopeful idea that it is going to make large changes in the future as more people stop thinking of think tanks as something for the elite,
No,
and just have intentional conversations, chronicle what you're talking about, document it, and share it with somebody.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's right. Excellent.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love that. That's great.
Claudia.
Dun
Claudia.
dun
Where's
dun.
Claudia?
Yeah, dun, dun,
Oh,
dun.
Where am I?
Claudia.
I'm over here. Wait,
Yes.
I'm over here. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
This uh this axis.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot going on with my children. I have a
Gonna
lot
say,
going
yeah,
on with a
got it.
relationship.
Yeah.
I have a lot going on with a job. Uh,
It's your creativity and your hopes and dreams. It's taking risks. It's giving yourself permission to receive something in return for who you are, because the 11th house is the receiving part of love. It's like, what do you want in return? It's reciprocity and getting your hopes and dreams met.
It's almost like there's this weird relationship between the fifth and the eighth, between giving love and receiving love.
mm-hmm.
And you know how to express yourself, but you need to learn how to receive more.
Receive. You also, you had that Venus Saturn together in Cancer. Yeah. In a
Yeah.
T square, my goodness gracious. Oh, yeah.
I know. Well, that's always been a thing for me, but I hear what you're saying, what you're both saying is the reciprocity, the receiving, big time, big, big, big time.
Yeah.
It's definitely happening. And not only is it in the context of a relationship, but in the context of everything. Like
Yeah.
everything.
It's
Like,
also with your children.
yeah.
That,
So I'm
By the way, it's also Pluto is also in the house of pleasure and fun, and it likes to be in the dirt.
Mhm.
You might try a little bit of gardening to center yourself on occasion when the weather is good for it. or even find one of those places that you can go digging for gemstones.
Oh, yeah.
Really? They have something like that around here, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be very fun for you and relaxing.
Yeah.
It would be
Ah,
very Plutonian.
Yes,
Right. That's a good one, right now. Well,
it
we have it
is.
here in Arkansas. It's a pretty long drive from Houston, but 7 hours.
Well, I'm in Atlanta right now, but still it's a long drive. But yeah, I have been getting this desire and this urge to be closer to the earth and get messier with the earth,
Right,
like the actual earth, which is
right.
not, I mean, it's kind of a new thing for me. I mean, that is a very new thing for me, but getting out in nature has been a new thing in terms of like the last like 5 years. I haven't always been this way. I've always been a city girl. Anyway, um, this this will be an interesting time because I remember 2006 there was major changes and uh, there's eclipses next year that are going to be, there's one on my moon. The last one was on my Pisces, on my Jupiter. We'll see, stuff is,
You know what, too? Because of the fifth house connecting with the heart and Pluto in the area of transformation, I would suspect that all of your all the transits that have hit Pluto through your life have been things you've taken to heart, and they were to go ahead and help you to transform in ways that you were never guided and suggested that to.
totally. I
But
mean,
if
big
had you
time.
known in an earlier day in life, it
Yeah.
would have been like, oh, I'm supposed to learn about this, and just allow it to
Yeah.
transform you,
Yes. Yes.
because that's the power that you hold. It is actually a very magical space to have Pluto in the house of that pleasure. It could be very magical.
Yeah. I I didn't used to understand it. Now in the last few years I've learned to really understand it in a different way. There is really, that's a, listen, if you got to have Pluto somewhere, that's a good place to have it. And right now, Pluto in the sky is trying my progressed Pluto.
Mm,
And st- it and it's in Libra, so a lot of stuff is around relationship in a way that I didn't anticipate at all. But it's everything too. Like it's all this stuff is connected. But
hmm
thank you guys. That's wonderful. So, what are we going to talk about next time? Speaking of,
hmm Dun
next
dun
time,
dun.
yep, we're going to talk about Pluto because we have done this before, but our world is transforming right before our very eyes, and we haven't even begun to see what it's really doing. Um, we meet, I want to say October 2nd. So tune in for that for the YouTubers. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. If you want to
Thank
keep up
you.
with us, find us on Facebook under the group Astrology Unplugged. Or you can request me as a friend and we will also connect you to the link for the show. But also, if you go to starself.com, the link has been now updated so that it's the link to get you in here every week.
Ooh.
So if you're not connected to me and you're not connected to Facebook and you're just go to starself.com and go to the unplugged page. All right. Thank you guys for
And
joining us
for all
tonight.
of our friends who have been on the podcast before, if you are not aware and you happen to be on Facebook, we have the Astrology Unplugged community group. Please find us on Facebook and reconnect. We miss you many times over. It would
Yeah,
be lovely to reconnect and be restoring the community that we once experienced because Rick's passing has hit us all, and we'd love to go ahead and reconnect with everybody.
yeah. Can
absolutely.
I ask a question
Sure.
for this is to do with daylight saving. When do you go into it or out of it?
I want to say November or
I
Okay,
think it's
cool.
November.
yeah.
It just changes the time I
Yeah,
connect with you.
gotcha.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yes. All right, everybody. Thank you again. I love you all. Have a
Thank
good night.
Yeah,
you.
love you
Thank you.
too.
Many
Bye.
See you. Sleep,
blessings,
sleep
everyone.
well, you